Good morning and welcome. So I'm here again today, for a Q&A, to hang out with you. You can ask me some questions. I've had some people send me some questions and they've all been along the same lines actually, which has been interesting. So, and this is something that, I think we all experience, including myself. And what I want to talk about today is how to get your power back. So I want to talk to you and share what I know about that, and maybe have a bit of a chat with you, get your feedback, find out what you have been experiencing. If you want to ask me a question, feel free. So just jump on, let me know that you're here, and we can have a bit of a chat, hang out for a while. So this is sort of unscripted, and it's a Q&A, and I've been asked a couple of questions which are around how do I get my power back. Hi Louise, good to see you. And this has been because a few people have been talking to me about getting really fired up for a new venture or a new direction, or wanting to change direction, getting excited about that, getting the energy for it, and then not long after come crashing down with self-doubt, with feeling anxious about it, with feeling powerless to do it, and then the whole thing comes to a halt. You lose your energy, it all kind of collapses in, and you wonder where it went. And so what I want to talk about today is the 3 positions of power, what they are, what it means for you, so that you can get a bit of a handle on where you've been focusing your energy and why you can create your own disempowerment, how you do it without meaning to, we all do it, and how you can turn that around so that you can really bring your energy back up again so that you're back on track. Because my job is to help you live your calling, and to do that you've really got to stand in your power. You've really got to stand in who you are, and you've got to know how to flip the switch back so that you are able to keep going and keep moving forward. Hi Nita, how are you? Good to see you. So that's what someone asked me, is how do I get my power back? So I want to talk about that. I want to talk about what is power, where does it come from, how do you know when you're disempowering yourself, and how do you move to a position where you create that, upward energy again of being fired up, of feeling strong, of feeling capable, of feeling important. So how do you know when you're disempowered? When you're disempowered, you start to feel self-doubt. You start to feel as if you're not capable, that you don't know anything. You start to feel like I can't control anything. It's all out of my control. You start to feel useless, unworthy, incapable, all of those sort of things. So that's how you know that something you're doing is you're creating it. All right. So this is the big thing here. It's like, what is power really about? Well, it's really about control. Hi, Leola. Good to see you. This is all about control, because in our lives, all what we're trying to do all the time is feeling control of ourselves and control of the world. We're trying to create things the way that we want them to be. We want the world to match up to the vision we have in our heads. And often you get presented with really good things, and you have a new direction to take, and it all goes well for a while, and then it starts to go wrong. The flow starts to stop. You get stuck. You start to feel like, I can't do this, I'm not good enough. And we just want to talk about one piece today, which is about the empowerment side. So how many of you have had that experience? I know I have. I'd love to know. If that's a yes for you, could you put it in the chat and just let me know? Have you experienced that? Have you got really fired up about something, that wow, this is really exciting, and then the energy starts to go out on you because you start to have those other feelings creeping in? Just let me know. Has that been something is that important to you? Is it something you've experienced? Would you like to know how to shift it? I'd love to know if that's a you. Yes for me now. Thanks, Lou. Yeah, awesome. Actually happened to me last week. And that's why it's another thing that, obviously we're all connected, and things that we're all experiencing, especially in this community, it's typically something that's happening for all of us. So I'm pretty sure that for all of you, there's something similar. Nita says bloody oath. Leola, totally yes. Awesome. Okay, so here's what I want to talk about. First of all, is to ask yourself, well, what is power really? If you want to get your power back, first of all, what is it? And it's about control. Where does it come from? And this is a really big thing, because we often talk about empowerment. We often look for a sense of control outside ourselves. We look for something or someone that will give us the thing, that feeling back. Perfect topic for you. Awesome. How will I get that power back? How will I get that feeling back? Because what we're looking for is a change in our feelings. And often what we look for is something outside of ourselves. And I want to say, first of all, it isn't outside you. I mean, you know that, right? But often we're doing things that we don't realize that are creating that disempowerment, because you've had it all along. Everything you wanted, all the control, the power energy is all inside of you. And so I want to talk about it not as getting power, because that implies in some way it's outside of you, right? Which is inaccurate. You know, we're living in the paradigm of internal control, which is everything comes from within. So if you're looking to feel stronger, more capable, you know, more self-reliant, more knowledgeable, more in control, more important, it's got to come from within you. So that's the first thing. So that's the first clue, is the position, first of all, has to be inside you. And I think that's one of the things that we sort of unconsciously get caught up in, is we look at people, we want to get, for example, respect from somebody else, or we want to feel that somebody else makes us feel important. And that's where we have that expression, you give away your power, is because we're looking for it from outside ourselves. We're looking for it from a job, from a person, from, you know, some sort of set of circumstances. And if that person or set of circumstances or whatever is not there, or doesn't give us what we want, we become victim. We start to feel like we're not in control. And it's far from the truth, but we can, without realize it, give our power away and then feel resentful or angry, or feel that, you know, that person is the thing that has to change in order for me to feel important or strong or capable, or, you know, to feel empowered in my life. And so as I'm talking, just begin to notice in your life, what are you doing? And where might you be giving your power away? And often it's to other people, right? It's because particularly when it comes to feeling strong or feeling respected or feeling, you know, a sense of, I can't think of any other words, but you know what I'm getting at, is we look to other people for that. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's lovely when it comes your way. But if you rely on it, if there's some people in your life that they're important to you that don't give you what you want in that respect, that you can start to feel disempowered. So that's the first thing. Now, what else did I want to say? And I'd love your comments or questions along the way as well. This is sort of a conversation. So I'm starting off the conversation and I'm wondering, you know, is that something you're experiencing? Do you have a question about it? And what I want to talk about today is, first of all, what is power? Where does it come from? What are you doing with yours? And realizing that it all comes from the inside. And this is something that is also very much connected to our ability to manifest, our ability to have things come to us. Because when we shift our energy or our focus outside of ourselves, we stop the flow of energy. We start putting energy on something that appears to be external to us. And usually, and as soon as you start to create the feeling within yourself that you aren't powerful, that you aren't magnificent, that you aren't strong or capable or intelligent or skilled or any of those things, as soon as you do that, you start to create a point of attraction. So I want to talk about this from the point of view not only of what are you doing, you know, with your focus and your thoughts and your feelings, but also what effect that has in terms of the energy world. In you know, all thoughts are vibration or feelings are vibration. And as the more you put your focus, wherever you put your focus, you send more of the energy there and it becomes a point of attraction. Or if you're thinking about Abraham Hicks, talk about it as a vortex, right? As the vortex of energy, like you want to be in the vortex, not out of the vortex. And in the vortex is when you're in standing in your power, right? And I'm going to talk about how you do that in the 3 positions of power in a minute. But from an energy and vortex perspective, in the vortex is that energy vortex of you are creating and attracting. You are the point of attraction. And when you're standing in that power, thanks Jules, when you're standing in that power and creating that vortex from a place of being empowered, then you're creating things as you want them to be. That's your most powerful position. As soon as you start to go out of the feeling of being powerful to disempowered, or whatever word you want to call it, because you're blaming someone else or because the events aren't right, you hung your power on, it's got to look like this or someone else has got to behave this way. You get out of the vortex and the energy changes and stops, and you start to create a point of attraction outside the vortex. So I want to make this sort of a cognitive understanding, but I want you to understand it from the point of view of manifestation and of creating the life the way you want it to be, and of living your calling. Because when you feel empowered, you are in the vortex. So Louise says, I think I'm relying upon needing to feel powerful, which is not always possible. Yes, it is. So good point, Lou. This is exactly my point. You're actually spot on there. Is you need to feel powerful, right? That's the way that you know you are in the vortex. It's the way that you know. And how do you do that is the question, right? Because what we do is we disempower ourselves through where we place our attention on things we can't control. And so to bring yourself back to feeling powerful is actually the key here. So you could say feel powerful, feel strong, feel capable, whatever word you want to insert there. Feel empowered, feel respect, feel in control. These are all aspects of how you know when you are feeling powerful. Does that make sense? And it is always possible to feel powerful. It's always possible to feel powerful. So it depends on where you put your attention. It's always possible because we are the ones that control our feelings. We're the ones that create feelings through what we're doing with our thoughts, through what we're putting our attention on. So it always comes back to, if I'm not feeling powerful, it's something that I'm doing. It's not something outside of me making me feel powerless. And that's the really important key here. Nobody can make you feel powerless. No situation and no event. At first, it can feel like I'm not powerful. It can feel that way. Feelings are not facts, right? Feelings can change. Yeah, okay, go. All right, I don't feel in control here. I don't know what to do. Maybe I don't know what to do next. That's okay. But then you've got to find any point of attraction again where you know you are capable, where you know you can go back to within you and find again the internal personal power. That's what we're talking about here. So in a moment, I'm going to talk to you about the 3 positions of power, and maybe that'll help explain a little bit more where you might be going that's not working and how to bring it back to having greater power in a way that's going to work for you, how to bring it back again. So Catherine says, is the vortex similar to staying positive? Yes, it is. It's similar to staying positive because it's about your feeling. So your feelings are the way that you know you are in the vortex, right? When you're feeling the way you want to feel, especially when things are not going the way you want, especially when, the outside world's not kind of looking like what you expected, especially when life throws you a curveball, that's when staying positive, or if I were to put it another way, looking for the things that are right, placing your attention, your thought and your energy in a point of attraction, in a place, because you can control that, where you begin to create the feelings you want to have. Then you step back in, you come into the vortex in an even more powerful way. Staying positive is a sort of a general term. What I would like to do is say, well, when you're positive, how do you feel? And in certain situations, you want to feel differently. In some situations, like the one I'm talking about today, is you want to feel strong. You want to feel like I'm in control and I'm capable. There are other situations where you want to feel like you're able to be loving, you're able to be nurturing, right? And sometimes when it's hard. In other situations, you want to be able to feel free. You want to feel like I'm and freedom and feeling empowered go very much together. But I'm not going to talk about that so much today. So it's yes, it's about being positive, but it's about how do you find the really specific ways, especially when things are difficult. Something has, the vortex, which is this place where you're actually in the place of empowerment of manifesting everything, right? In the flow, you might want to call it. How do you get in there and stay there, especially when you're starting to feel out of control about something? All right, within yourself, you're starting to feel, it could be about health, it could be about a direction you want to go, it could be about a relationship, it doesn't matter what it's about. Your feelings are your guide to what you're doing with your thoughts, and your feelings are your guide for whether you're in the vortex. And the vortex is like, I always think of it like a whirlpool almost, right? So if I'm in a whirlpool of energy, that's created by my thoughts and feelings, it's created by where I place my energy. Energy flows where you put your attention. Energy flows where your attention goes, is the saying. So the more you put your attention, and people often talk about being grateful, for example, the more you put your attention on being grateful and noticing what you do have and noticing what is going right, the more you create this, like a whirlpool energy that you are at the center of. That brings to you all the things you want, because that's what a whirlpool, like you think about it, energy or water, that's what it does, is it brings it to you. You're the one. You're the sort of the plug hole, right? You're the one that's bringing to you the things that you want. You're the one creating the manifestation energy. That's what you can do. That's who we are. That's how energy works. We live in it. Everything is vibration. Emotions, thoughts, everything is vibration. So if something's not coming to you, the energy isn't flowing well. Like it's not, you're either out of the vortex and not feeling in control of it. What I want to talk about today is how do you bring yourself back to that? And you're in the vortex because it's that flow. Like things just show up, you put your attention on it really lightly, and stuff starts to come to you. Some stuff starts to come to you. I see. Thanks. Not just the thinking positive, actually feeling it. Yes. Actually feeling not just positive, but feeling the way you want to feel. Because in certain situations, what you want, like today I'm talking about feeling powerful. Other times you want to feel differently. And it's how do you create that, right? How do you begin to, sort of empower up your vortex? How do you get it flowing? And that's how you know when it's working. So, thanks for your questions, by the way. Good to have you here. So for you is to think about where is your focus. Hi, Pat. Good to see you. And knowing that power comes from inside you, right? Feeling empowered. And I want to talk about it not as having to get power, but as how to be powerful. And do you feel the difference between saying those things? Because in our languaging, in the culture we live in we talk often in the language that implies it's outside ourselves. We often use language like, it made me feel powerful, or that kind of thing. Like we imply that in some way we get it from external to us, which also implies that in some way somebody can control us, right? Which is not true, right? That's actually, in my world, that's completely inaccurate. Actually, everything comes from the inside. So, because as soon as you say that you can get power from something, it also implies it's outside of you as well as that it can control you, which puts you in a place of feeling as if you're a victim, as if you are powerless. And so if you are having thoughts or viewing somebody or some situation that way, it's time for you to reevaluate that. And it's time for you to take your power back. Because what you're actually doing, rather than, so if you're in a difficult situation, for example, you can often feel that situation is causing you to feel disempowered, to feel helpless or hopeless. In actual fact, it's the way that I am or you are perceiving the situation that is creating those feelings. Do you understand? Does that making sense? That it's the way that you're looking at it, what you're thinking about around it. Even if it's a really difficult situation, it can feel as if it's controlling you, but it's actually, feelings are not a fact. It's not actually controlling you. We're ascribing that this difficult thing is causing it. And that's the language we need to be careful of. And is to be able to say, well, this is a difficult situation and I am choosing to deal with it in a certain way. And sometimes we will choose to deal with something in a way that means we back off, that we may choose to suppress or depress ourselves, not intentionally, but in a way that helps us to get what we need, which is the space from it, for example. So no blame here, but what I'm saying here in some way is we create everything. A lot of it not intentionally, but it all is purposeful. It all has something that, a reason that we're doing it, whether we're conscious of it or not. Okay, so here I want to talk about the 3 positions of control. And 3 positions of power, I should say, sorry. And I'm going to draw on the screen. So this is something new I'm just going to try. All right, so what I want to do here is I'm just going to, and hopefully this will work. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw on the screen and I'm going to draw and see how this works. I'm just going to bring you a bit closer. All right, so I want to talk about the 3 positions of power. And I want you to think about where you are and which one you're using. All right, so and what it is it's a triangle. Can you see that? Oops. So, and there are 3 positions. The first position, let me choose a color. What will I use? Let's use yellow. There are 3 ways that 3 places or 3 positions we can take when you think about being powerful. And what we do in our lives often is we try to control, because we all want to feel in control. We try to get, sorry about my hand in front of your face there. We try to get control or power over things in our lives. We want to feel that we can have power over other people or power over a situation. We want to make something be the way we want it to be. When a child, when they're first growing up, you see them learning to use a cup and how to have control of things in their lives. And we do have control and power over things. I have power over controlling this cup. The trouble is that what we do is we extend within and say, well, if I've got power over this and control over this, I must have control over other things in my life. For example, I must have control over people. And so we erroneously think if I can control this, I must be able to control other things outside of myself as well, which is, people and events. And that's what we often try to do, is we try to control and have power over. And there's nothing wrong with that, except that we don't have control over it. And that's when you can start to feel, I haven't got control over my life. It's because we're putting our energy and our power in a place where it's not actually, we've got a less chance that it's actually going to work. And we can often, in our lives, get control over a situation. We can try to make it be the way we want it to be. We can, put our focus and our energy there, but it's outside of ourselves. It's like, I want to have control over this person or this situation. And often we can at some level, I'm just looking for your comments because I can't see them on here now. I've got this other screen up. Often we can feel as if we're successful in that way. Like when you're a teacher, if you're a teacher, you can often, you're expected to have control over the kids in your classroom. If you're a parent, it's the same. But actually you don't have control over them. And if you're a parent, you know that. If you're a teacher, you actually don't have control. What happens is that other people agree to do something. And the flip side of that, that's really important, is people don't have control over you. Right, so it works both ways, which is the upside of understanding power over. We all want to feel that we have power over, but if you're putting all your energy there, this triangle is going to get really out of balance. Does that make sense to you? Right, so I'm just going to open this up. Just let me have a look. Is that making sense to you? If you're here listening, let me know what you're thinking. Let me know if this is sort of resonating for you. Are you, in some ways trying to control external things and putting a lot of your energy there? Because if you are, that's when you start to feel disempowered. You can start to feel that you're a victim. All right, and this is where one place you can put a lot of your energy that will not work, or it won't work as well as you want. And then you can start to feel that I haven't got control. For example, control over making money come in. Control, that kind of thing, is that we start to look outside ourselves for the answer. So what are you thinking about that? Is that making sense to you? Just give me a yes. Let me know. Is that making sense? The second one is power 2. So this is when the other position of power here is when we want to try to create something, we want to achieve. All right, it's really important for us to all feel as if we can achieve and that we know stuff and we can be capable. Put myself in a little triangle here so you can see me. So this is another kind of power, is the power to do things, the power to create, power. We all want to feel that we have the power to, right? And in a way, that's directing your energy outward again too, from inside, but it's still outward. And if you only focus on, I have to create this, it starts to feel like I've got to create this outside of myself, all right? And that's actually, it can get out of control and out of balance as well. Thanks, Leola. Thanks, Catherine. Thanks, Nita. Thanks. Good. You on making sense. That's great. If you've got any questions, let me know. And the last point here is, and this is the one that I really want to emphasize here. The last one. Let me just get green. The place that's actually the most important. Better come back to the screen. How do I do it? Oops. You've got the other side of my, you're looking at the other side of my wall there. Hold on. Oh, how do I get it back? Let me see. How do I get it back? Here we are. So let me come back here. Get my green again. All right. So is power within. This is the third position of power, is power within. And this is the most important one. The most important is that you actually bring your point of attraction within. That you look for the energy that you're seeking, you look for the feeling of power within. So this is, ultimately, this is personal power. And how do you do that? How you do that is, first of all, you bring your focus back. So if you've been thinking, well, I want to do this thing, and all of a sudden you start to have self-doubt, where have you gone? Usually you've gone outside of yourself because you want to control something. You want to have power over how it's going to turn out, right? Or you want to, you start to think, well, I have to do it this way, and I don't know how to do that. Or I have to, be able to, control the technology in order for me to achieve this. And so you start to go outside of yourself, and that's when you start to feel what you don't want to feel, which is the feeling of the self-doubt, the worry, the I can't do this, the you don't feel in control again. See, am I making sense? So to get back to power within is about, will you acknowledge your experience? Will you bring yourself back to thoughts, right? And this is what it's about. It's about when you place your focus within, you look inside yourself and you ask yourself questions. You look for, am I experienced? Am I an experienced person? Have I had experience with this? Am I still learning? Yes. And we talked about this last week. Am I still learning? Yes. But do I know stuff? Yes, I do. What are your skills? What are your capabilities? Bring yourself back to who you really know yourself to be. When you go outside and you look for someone else, you look for other people to give you the feedback that you're looking for, you take yourself outside again. You've got to bring yourself back to the power within you, right? It's always been within. It's never been anywhere else, and it doesn't exist anywhere else. We feel like we get empowered by things outside of ourselves, but actually all it is we've decided that resonates for me, and I agree with that. I agree with it. I am good at it, or I agree with I do know it, or I agree with yes, that helps me feel that it's okay for me to feel respected or to feel valued. Awesome. Thanks, Pat. Just what I needed to hear at this moment. Awesome. So bring yourself back always to power within. If you are giving your power away by looking for it to control something you actually don't have control over, people or situations. If you are looking that I have to achieve or have to do something in order to prove that I am strong or capable or knowledgeable or, worthy of respect or worthy of being valued, then you're going outside again, because it comes back to it's always on the inside of you. So let me ask you these questions, which is, if you were respecting yourself, if you were acknowledging you are important, you are strong, if you were to say these things, I am strong, I am powerful, I am capable, I am experienced, I am knowledgeable, I am important in the world, right? I am all of these things. You've got to bring yourself back to, that's where the energy is, that's where it lies, and that's where you're going to find it. As soon as you start to feel the other things, like I said before, as soon as you start to feel, anxious or disempowered or hopeless or helpless or any of those, in some way you've gone outside yourself. In some way you've given your power away again, willingly, right? No one can take it. It's like we give it away. And we all do it. I have times when I do this too. I'm wanting to create something and it doesn't turn out like I'm thinking, and I go, well, I must be no good, nobody likes me, it's blah, 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 blah. And I make up some story about, it's all about, I'm not good enough. And that takes the point of attraction outside the vortex. All right, so I'm just going to do one little thing in here, which is, and then I'm going to just show you something else, which is what's on the inside. You got another colour. How do you do other colours? That's interesting. Maybe I'll do white. So on the inside of the circle, right, is when you've got these in balance, this is how you can be powerful. Right, remember I said it's not about getting it, it's about being powerful. Or if you want to use another word, you could say be strong. Like, what's the word that you need at the moment? I'm behind here somewhere. So what's the word you need at the moment? Is it be strong? Is it be capable? Is it be in control? Be important? What is the word at the moment if you were to, I want to be, what is it? Powerful, strong, capable. Insert your own word, right? Because that's what's important here. So I'm just going to wipe this off. I think I can do it this way. Yeah, no, I can't. Hold on. All right, let me just see. How do I do? All right, that's sort of. All right, there we go. All right. So it's power, power over, power to, and power. These are the three positions of power. All of them are okay, but the one that gives you the greatest strength is power within. What happens is the triangle often looks like this. So if you've got a triangle that looks like this, in other words, when you're feeling disempowered, when you're feeling, hopeless, helpless, whatever, is that the power over, you've given the power over to other people or situations. You are looking for everything that I have to control everything. And you can't achieve everything. That suddenly the bottom of the triangle, the three positions, your power within is suddenly very small. Does that make sense? Somehow I can't do the I there. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. Does that make sense? Can you see that these positions of power are unequal? They are causing problems. All right, let me see what you're just saying here. Pat, my latest affirmation is I am well, I am strong, I am filled with energy and light. Awesome. Beautiful. And that's bringing your power within. Using the affirmation in a way to support. It's bringing the point of attraction and helping you feel the way you want to feel. Remember I said it's about feeling. That's awesome, Pat. Love it. Catherine says, perfect synchronicity, Jenny, as I was listening to another video about the vortex just this morning. Yeah, don't you love it? Obviously, just need to maybe hear this in a different way. Maybe I also like, this model is the positions of power. It helps me understand what am I doing, where am I putting my focus. So it gives me 3 ways to understand what I might be doing that isn't working for me. That was a few days, Pat. Good, awesome. Any other comments? I'd love to hear what you've got to say. Is that making sense to you? So what we want is for our positions of power to be equal, all right? To be, or, for this one along the bottom here, within, to be big, to be long, to be, I've done it again. Turn it around. How did I do that? Let me see. How did I do that? I have to come back here. Let me see. All right. So you want the power, that our power within, let me see, I've got the, you want the power within to be the longest, it's like the most stable bottom, right? The more you come back to acknowledging that you have the control, you are powerful. To be powerful is to acknowledge your skills, your strength, your capabilities, to do it for yourself, not look for it outside yourself from other people or from events or situations. They don't have the capability to put you down. They feel like they do. But if they feel like they do, remember, feelings are not facts, but feelings are things we create. And we get to create them again if it's not working. Our feelings are our signals that tell us what we're doing in our mindset, where we're placing our attention, what we're perceiving, what we're choosing to perceive in a situation. Isosceles triangle. Yeah, thanks, Pat. Oh, absolutely. So, Pat says, yes, very good visually, the taller triangle with the smaller within base. Yeah. So you've got to come back to really lengthening your power within. Easy to understand and apply. Thanks, Louise. Thanks, Pat. Awesome. So, so the question for you now is, if you were bringing and focusing your attention and creating more of a vortex of power within, if you were turning the attention away from other people or from things you think you have to create or have to bring to you. Remember, we manifest everything from the inside out. Energetically speaking, we are responsible. We are the creators for everything. You don't have to expend a lot of energy to make something happen, right? What you've got to do is come back again to here. Within is where is the origin of manifestation. When you are powerful, when you stand in your power and be comfortable with that, suddenly you find you relax. Think about that. Every time you think I have to make something happen, all right, I have to achieve, and there's nothing wrong with achieving. What I'm saying is, where are you going to put your attention? Where are you going to put your energy? When you believe and you spend time and you acknowledge, now you can write it down. You can ask other people, what are my strengths? How do you see me? You can get feedback. You can get it however you like, is to bring yourself back to the point of attraction is within me. To be powerful is your responsibility, all right? To be capable, to feel strong, all of those things, the feelings are the indicators. And it's, if you feel disempowered or powerless, it's not coming from the outside. And that sounds, especially if you're in a tricky situation, it can feel like it's coming from the outside. It can feel like it's being created. But actually what we're doing is viewing the situation in a way that we are thinking something like, I can't control this, I can't do anything about it, there's nothing I can do to change it, which may on the surface be true. Once again, if you bring yourself back to power within, you're acknowledging what I have control over is me. Nobody nothing can make me feel any less than anybody else. And it's the signal, if you start to feel less than, is the emotion. That's the signal that tells you you need to bring yourself back to power within. And is it true that you're less than? Absolutely not. You're not less than anybody else. You are you are a magnificent and powerful being who can create exactly what you want. And what you've got to do is bring yourself back, bring the energy back again. Bring it back to yourself, bring it back to affirming who you are, what you've experienced, what you know. Bring it back to you and know who you are as a person, right? You know, every time you do that, how much better you feel. And that's what this is about. This is about which position of power will you take? Which position of power have you been focusing your attention on? Where have you been putting your energy? Where have you been putting your point of attraction? And how will you bring it back? Where would you rather be, right? Would you rather be at power within? Knowing that that's the place of manifestation. It's the place of self-affirmment. It's the place of being powerful. And it's okay to go outside and on the other parts of the positions of power, but keep them in balance and lengthen your personal power is one way of describing that. All right, let's see. Louise says, just hearing you say the affirmations helps me find the place of power within. Awesome. That's great. That's what I want to hear. So, ask yourself these questions. If you were feeling, or if I were feeling, ask this to yourself. If I were focusing on who I am and, being powerful or being strong or being capable, right? It's always about being, not getting, right? This is a really important word, being, not getting. It's not outside you, it's in. If I were being powerful, being strong, being capable, being important to myself, right? Or being respected, right? Don't look at outside. If I were being respectful to myself, if I were feeling in control, what would you be telling yourself about yourself? Where would you be putting attention? What would you acknowledge about yourself? And you can do that through writing it down. I recommend doing that. You can do it through having a conversation with someone about this that you trust and respect. Ask them to have a conversation about how do you, talk about your capabilities, talk about what you want to create, talk about the thing you're excited about, but only talk about it in the sense that you are creating it, that I am creating this and it's exciting. This is the point of attraction information again, like, the vortex stuff again. It's like as soon as you go to, but I don't know how to do this. But what if somebody says that? Or what if it doesn't turn out that way? You are then stepping outside of your be powerful again. All right? You're stepping outside of that. You're going out of the vortex. You're getting out of it. It slows down. It stops. All the creation, the flow. You're out of it again. Right? So that's why it's really important. You've got to maintain and keep your focus on that, which means sometimes you need to write it down, put it up somewhere. You need to be able to read it. You need to be able to tap it in, for example. All right? So all these other things that you as, conscious women know how to do. You can use it as an affirmation. You can, make an artwork about it. All right? You can put it in your diary every day so that you see it. You can put it up. You can use tapping, right? To tap in that affirmation, I am whatever, right? And do that. Ask your guidance. How many times do I need to do that in order that it will, be really solid and I'll be able to keep my focus there? Just ask your guidance. What do I do next in order to have that be easy and graceful for me to do all the time? All right. That's one of the things I do all the time. That's how I work with people. It's how, when I'm doing coaching, that's what I do. Is I help you find where is your place of empowerment within. This is the kind of teaching that you will receive from me. So I'm here today because point of attraction is always about, we're having this conversation as a point of attraction because you and I, in some way, have something going on here. So if you're here listening to this, maybe there's a point of attraction because I'm the next step for you in terms of coaching. I don't know. Ask yourself that. If that's true, then book in with me. I just created something new. I put it in the Facebook group actually yesterday. I want to create a life direction assessment. Exploration session. 15 minutes, just talking about you. Ask you. So I've got some questions I want to ask you. So 5 things that will help you understand where you're not standing in your power, where you're not going in the direction you want to, like what's going wrong, so you can understand where the sabotage is. 5 things that will help you understand where the flow isn't, and with the purpose and the idea that it'll give you some insight into 5 things you can focus on, where you can put your attention to start to begin to change that. And also we can have a chat about whether you want to work with me, whether that's a suitable thing, and we can talk about that, and that can come at another conversation at some other time. So it's a 15-minute call. If you want to book in for that, I made some spaces for it this week, and it's a quick call. It's 15 minutes, but it's a powerful one. It's a bit like today. It helps you understand where you're at. And then if you want to do something with me, we can book another time to talk about that. All right, so I'm going to make that available. I've got a few spots, so if that feels like, there's a point of attraction here, then I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to chat with you, find out what's going on for you. So, and it's a booking system. That's the best way for me to do it, so that you can book a time that suits you. All right. Thanks, Leola. That's awesome. Great to hear that's helping. It's helping. That's perfect for you. Excellent. Nita, if we can be free, powerful, and positive by focusing on our thoughts and feelings and creating dominant vibrations that attract all that we desire into our life, then does that mean that the external environment shouldn't be able to influence us in a negative way? A work situation? Or is that when we reach perfection? Good question. The truth is, a work situation does not have control over you. Here's how I want you to think about it. And that is that the external world is like feedback. It's information. And if you can keep it at the lower level, if you can keep it as like, okay, well, this work situation is information. It's information for me. How am I going to interpret that information? For example, if it's a work situation and if you perceive it at the level that this is about me and people don't like me, and you take it up to what I would call a higher level to be about you, you will find this harder to deal with, because you start to internalize it as this is about me and I'm no good and they don't like me and things like that. If you can bring that information and make it more about this is information and feedback to me that this is not a place I need to be anymore, if you can keep the information down to being about fact, all right? What are the facts of the situation, all right? You will deal with this much more easily. And this is another thing that I teach, a strategy. It's a bit like keeping it at the level that you understand as feedback, that there are people there that I don't, for example, I don't connect with. This is a situation that I don't enjoy. Don't make it about you. Make it about the facts of the situation. The facts are there are people like this who work there. The facts are whatever the situation is for you, and realize that we create everything. So if we create everything, then that is information coming back to you. You're out of the vortex, all right? And you've brought this in some way for you to assess, for some way for you to see something that's going on within you that needs attention. For example, and I know your situation, which is that maybe you should have left there a long time ago. Maybe it's about you had to express your power in this situation. You had to stand in your power. Maybe it's an opportunity that you got to stand in your power and say, this is not okay with me. This is not what I want. I am not controlled by other people or events, and it's a chance for you to learn that and stand in your power and realize you do not and are not a victim and are not controlled by people or events. You get to choose, again, if this situation is not something that you don't want to be in anymore. All right? Get back into your vortex. You are empowered. You get to choose. You get to choose how you want to feel about it. And sometimes that doesn't feel easy, right? I know that. Sometimes it doesn't feel easy when a situation has come that's challenging you to stay in your power within, to stay in who you know you are, to stay within know what you did that was right, to stay within what your skills and experience are, and if they're not valued, will you continue to give that in a situation that where you're not receiving it back. That you can still value yourself and not rely on other people or circumstances to provide it for you. And if you are going to stand in your power and understand you are valuable and strong and capable, will you continue to work there? All right? That's the question. Can you do that over a long period of time? There's no such thing as perfection. We bring things to ourselves. We create everything in order that we can find the point of attraction that's going to work for us. How do I stay in balance even if this situation is there? How do I still stay strong? How do I value myself even when I'm in a relationship or a place that I don't get it from other people, right? And it's quite challenging. And the question is, will you stay? When you stay, you create a situation where you have to stay in the vortex. It's going to take more energy, all right? Which is okay. Maybe that's okay with you. If it's not okay and it's becoming too challenging, then the question is, do I choose again? Do I choose differently? Do I choose something else this time? And that's what I do, is help support you through that transition, through that period where if something is not the way you want it to be, how do you stay in feeling strong, feeling free, feeling loving, still having your energy of playfulness, right? You've got to have all of these things in balance. Today we've only talked about being powerful, but there are others. I want to talk to you about those another time. So this is just one piece today, but it's come up because a few of you have talked to me about it and asked me about it. So I hope that's helpful for you today. Thanks, Catherine. Thanks, Louise. Thanks, Jules. It'd be nice if we reached perfection, Nita. It would be good if there was such a thing. But this is the human condition. This is what we get to experience here. We get to experience how we manifest things, how we create things. We get to, have the physical experience of that. We get to feel things in the other realm, as soul, as energy. We don't get to feel in the way that we feel in a physical body. And sometimes we probably wish we didn't have to, right? Sometimes it's difficult. But remember, bring it back to, understanding that you get to create. You're powerful within, and focus your energy there. Have your point of attraction be within you, without any buts, without any I can'ts. As soon as you do that, you go out again. You step outside your power. You step out of the vortex. All right. There's no such thing as perfection. You don't have to be doing it every minute of the day. You have to do it all the time. But when your feelings tell you, I'm not feeling capable or strong, or I'm feeling anxious, or I'm feeling disrespected, or I'm feeling hopeless or useless, right? It's not coming from outside you. Even if someone has told you, I'm sure if someone's told you you're hopeless, it's what you decide to do with that information that is important. It doesn't get to control you. You control that piece of information. You decide, do you agree? And if you do, you can decide you want to be hopeless. But how do you feel when you feel hopeless? Like you feel victim again. You feel like, I'm not in control here. You feel like you just want to withdraw and run away. And sometimes you can do that for a while first. Then what you've got to do is say, okay, if that's not really true, what will I decide? What will I do with this piece of information? Will I really make it be like I talked about me? Or will I be, for example, will I just make it sound? Will I just make it like a monkey said it? Right? And as soon as you can introduce humor, or as soon as you can introduce that, you bring it down to like it's just a piece of information. I mean, it's someone saying you're hopeless, even if it's someone you respect and like and you don't really want to hear that from them. Imagine if a monkey said it. All right? So shift your perception. This is what we are able to do, and this is how powerful we are, is we are able to shift and change the way we look at something in order that we can feel differently, so that we can change our vibration. You're not stuck. It doesn't get to control you. And we're always looking for the way that we can have that perception shift. And that's what Bruce Lipton talks about in the biology of belief, is that our cells are responding to our perceptions. Our DNA is responding to our perceptions. You know, what happens in the cell membrane, what happens at a, you know, a DNA level is all about vibration. It's about how are we perceiving our world? And it's not just because we are like the big cell, all right? We're the big cell. We're all one big cell and they're all talking to each other. And when you change what you do, when you bring your power within, when you be powerful from within, you change the signals that you're sending to your body. Because you're changing your vibration, you're changing your thoughts, you're changing your feelings, your emotions are molecules. All right? Your cells are picking up the molecules, they're picking up the vibrations, they're picking up the chemicals, and your cells are responding to that. And so your genetics, your epigenetic, you know, your whole being is responding to what you're thinking and feeling. And that's why this is so powerful. This is why being empowered, being powerful, comes from within, changes everything, creates a vortex of energy, brings things you want, changes your health. And it's just about realizing that you do have the power, you've always had it, and you always will have it, regardless of how things look or what happens. Sometimes it's challenging, but you do have it. So, Nita says, next life. Pat, thanks for that, Pat. Thanks, Nita. Feeling much more powerful lately. Awesome. Yeah, well, Nita's in one of my programs with me, so I'm with some amazing women, including Pat. And I want to invite you, if you're not working with me, to come and work with me. I've got some spaces to have some chats. It doesn't cost you anything. Just come and have a talk with me. Book in for a, what do they call it? Life direction session, life direction. I keep forgetting the name of it anyway, because it's brand new. So I'll put the link, and they're 15-minute sessions, and we can just have a chat. You can find out the 5 things that may be getting in your way for you to be able to live your life, you know, live your calling. All right. So how's that been for you? What's the thing that you've learned most? Those of you who are still online with me, what's the thing that's resonated for you? Give me some feedback. What was the piece that you went, aha, right, this is an important thing I need to remember? Give me some feedback on, you know, what's the thing, because, you know, I've said a lot of things today. What's the thing that for you has resonated and you've gone, that's what I needed to hear, that's what I need to remember? Give me some insight into that. I'm going to have some tea. Okay. All right. I'm really keen because, you know, I've talked about a lot of things today, and I think in this this chat today, is hanging out, you know, I've learned a lot over the years about psychology, energy. You know, I have a you know, long experience and a lot of training as well in teaching a lot of this information, and you know, it's good for me to be able to share it with you, but I want to find out what's the thing that really got you. What's the thing that for you, wherever you are at the moment, that you just went, aha, I needed to hear that again, or I needed to sort of like, that's the thing that right now is important. So Leola, thank you. The question is to get back into your power. Awesome. All right, yeah, so how to make it practical. Awesome. Thank you. All right. If you're watching the replay, I'd also love to hear what was important for you. Awesome. So, it was interesting. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your feedback during the week. And next week, I'm going to be in Canberra, actually. And I'm going to be busy in the morning, so I may do, next week I may do my Q&A session a different time, or maybe even a different day. So yeah, I'm going down to Canberra. Pat says, I've only been knocked sideways with curveballs because of the double whammy of the Florida shooting and my continuing eye problem. The eureka was the longest side of the triangle, the power within, and our DNA responding to how we're feeling. as unusually I've been feeling weepy. Yeah. Awesome, Pat. Yeah. It's like our body gives us feedback. Our feelings give us feedback where we're putting our attention. What's the point of attraction we're creating? And, you know, when something difficult happens in the outside world, you know, the Florida shooting, I know that was very close in your family, that it can bring up fear, it can bring up worry, it can bring up all those things. What's really important, Pat, for you is now focus on what's good in the world. It's really important to bring your focus and your point of attraction back to the beautiful surrounds you live in. It's easy to get caught up in the world is a difficult place, or it's a dangerous place, or it's unsafe, or, you know, worrying that something bad's going to happen to somebody. Remember, we manifest and create. Our point of attraction is what we do with our vibration. Really important for you to shift your focus back to everyone is safe, the world is safe, the world is beautiful, it's comfortable, my bed is comfortable, I'm safe, I'm supported. Really important. And look for the evidence of that in your world, and bring yourself back to knowing that when you do that, you're being empowered again and back in the vortex, and you'll know that, and you begin to create that energy within you again that releases, allows the grief to be released. Thank you, Amy. Good to see you. Thanks, Jules. Was a good refresher knowing how to bring yourself back to the power within. Awesome. Yeah, great. Thank you for your feedback. Really appreciate it. I know I'm not here alone. Okay. Thank you so much. I'll put the link to book in for a life direction evaluation session, and I'll talk to you soon. I hope to see some of you. I would love to have a chat with you. It'd be great. You know, because up till now, I'm kind of, you're on the other side and I don't get to see you or really talk to you. And those of you in my groups, I'll see you soon. Awesome. Thanks, Pat. Nita says, we control everything from within us, and it begins from the power of our thoughts and feelings. Absolutely. We need to constantly be aware of our feelings and thoughts and put attention on that which we want to attract, though hard at times. Yes, it's okay to be hard, but if you get to choose the thoughts you have, which ones do you want to choose? That's where your power is. That's how to empower yourself. If you could choose to spend your time and focus on thinking what you're out of control around, what's difficult, what people have done that you don't like, or you get to choose to think about what's good in your life, who you have that supports you, the beautiful things you can create, where you want to, what you want to create next. It's your choice. And that's the decision. It's your choice. It doesn't have to be all the time. So you want to be in the vortex or you want to be out. It's okay to go back out and then come back in. Thanks. That's really good. I'm glad that's what you got out from. That's awesome. Okay. Thank you, guys. Ladies, I should say. Thanks for being here. It's awesome to hang out. You know, it'd be great if one of you came online with me, you know, because these days we can actually have live. I can invite people to come on with me. I'm just going to put this down. Yeah, you can bring people. I can bring people on camera, that would be awesome, right? Not everybody, because not everybody's got a camera. I can see Leola's got a camera. Not that I'm going to bring you on. Don't worry. Don't freak out. Who else has got a camera? Jan's got a camera. Oh, Jan, I didn't see you were there. That would be good, right? We could actually have a real conversation. We could actually really hang out. But, you know, don't worry. I'm not going to put you on the spot for that. But, you know, maybe I will. Might be good to actually have a bit of a chat, right? And when you've got a question, you could actually come on and actually talk to me about it. That would be cool. All right. Oh, look, it's 11:11. There you go. Numbers. Legs 11. 11:11, my favorite numbers. That must mean it's time. That must mean the energy is right. This is, the energy is right. This is all good. We've been spot on here. And point of attraction, thanks for being here. Oh, thanks, Nita. Pleasure listening. Thanks. Pleasure having you here. Okay. Love to hear any other feedback, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.